Never mind.
We know we are a much better team than we came up and represented ourselves. That's what we call a sack lunch. Nom, 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 nom.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into another edition of the Sack City Podcast. I'm your host, the one and only Vinny Milani, joined, as always, by my best friend in the whole entire world. He is Aaron, the Mukesiah Mukes. It is a beautiful January 9th afternoon here in the city. It's a Friday. It's been, dude, it's probably been about like 2 years at least since we've done a show on a Friday. Like since we've actually sat here and
Fun and Games Friday?
Exactly. A Fun and Games Friday. And don't think that idea did not cross my mind, because we're gonna do something Fun and Games Friday-ish.
Did you join my live?
I have not.
Join it so they can hear you, because I don't think anybody can hear you. Well, at least on my side. But yeah, Fun and Games Friday, man. I miss those days. I miss kind of, taking the crown every week from you guys. With the ball knowledge.
That didn't happen that often. That wasn't.
Well, no, what you guys would do is you guys would, like, anytime you guys needed like a pick me up, you'd do like some hockey or some movie thing to try to make you get your scores right, and then you guys would win. Or Dylan would get some baseball trivia in there. But we all know who the champ was, really. I mean,
no, that wasn't. I remember specifically the spelling bee and who won the spelling bee, and that was.
I mean, a spelling bee. What do I look like? I'm 6 years old. I mean, come on.
I mean, sometimes when you shave the beard, it kind of looks you do look 6 years oldish. I'm trying to join. It doesn't let me join.
I just said invite. I just hit your invite. I literally just sent you invite as a guest.
Send it to me one more time, because I left. I thought
invitation sent. Invitation sent. I want to make sure our people, our TikTok fans, want to hear your beautiful voice. They don't need to see your face, but they definitely need to see the radio voice.
I don't have the smoothest voice in sportscasting like our boy Dylan, but I do.
Dylan's on my shit list. He called me, I called him. He never called me back. Then I called him, and he didn't call me back again. So he's on my shit list. He's out there, living his best life.
He is.
Is it not? Is it not letting you in, or what?
It is not.
What is it saying?
I don't have an invite. I just see your beautiful face.
I think you're lying. I literally just sent your invite 6 times.
Do I have to go to like a certain place for this?
No. One new message. It literally says invite V Milani 31 to join your live. Invite. Invitation sent. You've done this 4 times now, Vinny.
I know. That's what I know we've done this before. Like I'm like. That's why normally when I try and hop in, it ends up like. That's not it. Like when I pop in, I normally get like the notification, hey, like I'm trying to get invited.
Yeah, I'm not sure why you're not being invited. Invite.
Oh, there
Invitation.
We go. Your boy's
Jesus in. Christ.
Your boy's in.
Pardon Mr. Vinny Milani. He's technologically challenged. Tell him what we're talking about today. All
right. So we've got a great show ahead of us, everybody. We are going to, of course, get you all set and ready to go for this weekend's wild card extravaganza. I mean, I feel like every year since we have all these 7 teams that getting in for each conference, like it's just getting bigger and bigger. We got games on Saturday, we got games on Sunday, we got games on Monday. College football is happening today, yesterday. Like this is like the best time to be a football fan. So we'll get you ready for all the action coming up for Wild Card Weekend. We'll also dive into the head coaching vacancies. That's where I want to start today's show and have our little Fun and Games Friday action. And a little bit of fun and games, not like we used to, but just a little bit. I'm excited to get rocking and rolling on this because I've been buzzing to talk playoffs with you. And really, I'm excited for you to make me feel like an absolute fool when it comes to us talking about the Bills-Jags game, but that's many, many, many games away from now. Let's start everything off with a little. Let's throw it back. Do some morning headlines.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
The not so morning headlines that everyone has already heard of and knows and is well aware of. There's a lot of coaching vacancies out there in the NFL. The Browns are open, the Ravens are open, the Falcons are open, the Raiders, Cardinals, Giants, Dolphins now after the Mike McDaniel firing the other day. Aaron, the Fun and Games Friday twist I wanted to throw in here was I want you to rank the head coaching vacancies from best spot to worst spot.
I kind of had a sense that's where you were gonna go with it. So we're doing all of them just straight
through. Straight through.
Okay, you're gonna have to make sure I have them all listed because I don't want to miss one and mess up this whole thing. And there's 8 of them right now.
There are 8 of them, and I'll throw it in the private chat of what we have.
Oh, we get a private chat.
It's the chat on StreamYard. I honestly think I forgot one because I didn't even mention the Titans.
Oh, well, see. Yeah, the 2 that were in season were the Titans and Giants.
Yeah.
Hey, girl. We got doggies barking in the background. She's excited for playoffs, too.
She is. She is very excited for the playoffs.
Titans, Cardinals, Raiders, Giants, Dolphins, Browns, Ravens, and that's not all of them.
There's 8 vacancies.
Dolphins.
2.
I only have 6 here.
Okay, yeah, I only have 6.
Yeah, you're missing Dolphins and you're missing who am I missing? Cardinals you got. Why can't I? Who's the other one?
Titans, Cardinals, Raiders, Giants, Browns, Ravens. Did I throw the Falcons in there?
Oh no, the Falcons probably. That's the one. Bye, Raheem. So and Terry Fontenot.
So if you were to rank all these landing spots for a head coach, you're the number. Let's do what we used to do here. Aaron Mukes, you are the number 1 head coach out there right now. Every team is calling you. You're getting the same offer from every team in the league. Same money, same financial security, all that good stuff. Where is your heart taking you?
I think it's fairly easy if you just look at the landscape of what the NFL has been over the past 30 years or so. Where's your franchise quarterback at? Do you already have one? And where's the most stability in a franchise? And I think that's the Baltimore Ravens. I think you have to start with the Baltimore Ravens, despite their challenges this year and what they weren't able to do. Lamar Jackson is clearly head and shoulders above the rest of the quarterbacks on this list for these teams. So I think it's pretty easy to say Baltimore off top. Yes, their defense has been disappointing, but you get Lamar Jackson, you got your franchise quarterback, and you get Derrick Henry. So that's nice. And I just think, again, the most stability in that franchise, that has to be number 1.
So do you think, though, that when it comes to going to Baltimore, because I obviously, when you look at the rosters, the way that they're constructed right now, all these teams, there's no better team than the Baltimore Ravens to go to. And I agree with you there. But do you, as a head coach, have a slight worry that your leash is going to be much smaller, much shorter because of the pressure that's going to be on you to get through? And we're going to talk about it in a little bit, obviously, with the playoffs and this year being a special year where you don't have the juggernauts in all of the juggernauts in the AFC in there. The pressure is going to be on, and your leash might be short in Baltimore. Does that concern
your leash is short everywhere? I mean, think about some of these places where Raheem Morris lasted 2 years in Atlanta. You got the Titans. How long did Callahan last? The Cardinals. Jonathan Gannon was only there for a few years.
But there's different pressure when you're that much closer to a Super Bowl than a rebuild. Than when you join a team like Baltimore. If you're not going. If you're not going 10-7 and making the playoffs, at least making it through the divisional round, like making it maybe to the conference championship, you could do all of that and still get let go if it's disappointing.
But let's be honest. The floor for Baltimore was this year. So think about that. The floor for Baltimore, and that's with Lamar being hurt because of Lamar Jackson, is like a 9-8 season. So, going 9-8 is almost like you can almost walk to 9-8 if you're a new head coach, just because you have Lamar Jackson. So yeah, the expectations and the pressures might be higher, but I don't think the leash is any shorter when you compare it to any of these teams, because despite the delusion of the Raiders, of the Cardinals, of the Giants, of the Titans, they're not going anywhere, and they're firing their coaches after 2 seasons, and they don't have the expectations. So it's not like you get some longer leash because you get to go to a place that doesn't have these expectations. It doesn't matter. In the NFL, every team expects to be fighting for the playoffs and fighting for championships. And if you don't do that, then you're going to be gone.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw John Harbaugh, who's won a Super Bowl, get fired. We saw Kevin Stefanski, who's been a 2-time coach of the year, get fired. We've seen good coaches get fired because of expectations, and I don't think the length or the time or the pressures really matter to a coach that's looking for a new job.
Now, let me ask you this: when it comes to, and this is going off on a side tangent, and the other thing is, I don't have my headphones in. This is a complete side tangent. I don't have my headphones in, so if you're talking and your audio is on your TikTok, you're going to come through both, and it just hit me that's going to happen. So
wait, what?
I have my speakers on. I don't have my headphones in.
Okay.
So any audio that's coming through TikTok is going to be you twice. Does that make sense?
I don't. But okay, go ahead.
I'm not
Whatever
going
you
to
say.
worry about it.
So your audio's not coming through TikTok?
My audio is. Your audio is going to come in twice.
Okay.
Because you're never mind. Just don't worry about it. I'm not. We're good. Okay. So my question though, and this is, I've been really dying to ask you this question and waiting for this moment to ask you this. When it comes to these coaches that are getting fired, like a Stefanski, like a Harbaugh, it kind of seems crazy to me that, like, if you're an organization firing that coach, and I get it for maybe the Harbaugh, you're like, oh, okay, it's ran its course. You got to move on. There's an alarm going off in my head that if you're firing a coach that just becomes the automatic number one on everyone's board, like if you're firing a coach that teams are now willing to fire their coach just to go after, that seems like a red flag to me. Like, I shouldn't be firing that head coach.
Where do you think that's happening at?
But for me, if you're the Ravens and you're saying, okay, we got to move on from Jim Harbaugh, from Harbaugh. We got to move on from him. He automatically becomes the number one coach on just about every team's board. You see the Dolphins, and you're not necessarily saying that they're firing McDaniel because they think they have a shot at Harbaugh, but that does play into it. Like, teams could be firing their head coaches just to get the coach that you just had.
I don't believe teams are firing. I don't think the Dolphins fire McDaniel to try to get John Harbaugh. I don't think that's the case. I don't think teams are that reckless. And teams can be reckless at times, but I don't think anybody's looking at, oh, John Harbaugh is now available, let's go fire our coach that we had no intention of firing. I don't think that's happening in NFL circles. I really don't. I just don't believe that's happening. I think
it's got to be a red flag, though. It's got to be a red flag, in my opinion, to maybe not necessarily these teams are firing just to get a shot at Harbaugh. But when you fire a head coach and he's automatically the number one coach on 8 teams' boards, well,
of course he is. He's a Super Bowl champion, and a lot of other head coaches aren't. But you got to understand, there's a time. I think back to Andy Reid, where your time just runs out in a place, and that's kind of what happened with John Harbaugh. I said I thought it was a mistake for them to fire John Harbaugh. I do. I don't care about all the noise out there, what happened this year. It doesn't matter to me, because you're not going to find a better coach than John Harbaugh that's in this cycle. But what you might find is a guy that brings a new energy into the building. And so it's a different type of energy, a different face, a different voice, and that could reinvigorate something there. I think when you have a coach like Harbaugh, he's going to generate popularity because of what he's accomplished in this league. He is a great coach. He's proven that despite all the noise. So I don't think it's a matter of oh yeah, he becomes the number one on everybody's board. Well, yeah, any coach that was out there that had his experience, his success would be the number one candidate on a lot of these guys' board, because we know what we're going to get from him. We don't know what we're going to always get from some of these new guys that are throwing their names, these offensive coordinators that are trying to turn head coaches. You don't know what you're going to get there. So the stability that Harbaugh had offered Baltimore for that many years is what every franchise is looking for. Baltimore's just saying, maybe it's run its course here, and we need something that to kind of reinvigorate what we're about. Again, they're taking the chance on, can we get somebody that can just get us over that edge a little bit more? I thought I was listening to ESPN the other day, and Marcus Spears brought up a good point. He talked about Georgia Bulldogs, and when they had Mark Richt there, who was a great college football coach, but he couldn't get Georgia over the hump. So what did they do? They let him go, and everybody was like, "Well, that's crazy. Mark Richt's a good coach," but they got Kirby Smart because they thought he could give them the edge to just go over the top. And Kirby turned out to be obviously a great coach. But I think that's what Baltimore's trying to recreate, is find somebody that can get them over kind of where they've been stagnant the last 7, 8, 9 years, however long it's been since they been really making deep playoff runs. So I think Harbaugh is going to end up being a top candidate on most people's boards, but that's not surprising to me. And I don't think teams are firing guys just because they want a shot on John Harbaugh. I think it's more of, we're going to probably let this guy go anyways. And now that John Harbaugh is available, hey, let's give him a look because we know what he brings to the table.
And you get rid of him just to try and find that and hope you can find that edge, because you're not getting that edge with Harbaugh.
Correct. You're just it seems to have stalled out. Let's just say that. Like, either that message is getting stale or it just doesn't mean the same as it did before. And you need something to kind of just reinvigorate the building. And it could be the wrong choice. They could go backwards because of this, but you take that chance. It's very similar to what the Eagles did with Andy Reid. And they kind of just ran its course. He had been to 4 Super Bowl or 4 NFC Championship games, a Super Bowl, and they just said, you know what, it's just not, we haven't been able to get over the hump. Let's go in a different direction. Andy Reid goes to Kansas City, and he becomes one of the greatest coaches of all time, even though he was already a great coach.
Yeah, and then you go through your Chip Kelly days in Philadelphia, but you eventually get there. So maybe brighter.
I still don't know if they got the right guy, but they got the job done. Let's just say that.
That's fair. I will talk Sirianni in a little bit when we get to that Eagles Niners game. Time to wake up. Okay, so I went on that tangent. Let's finish off your list here. Ravens are number 1 as your most desirable destination.
Yeah. Number 2, I'll be honest, I think it's Atlanta. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, wait, why? I do like that Arthur Blank is not settling. Obviously, I have a little bit of insight to the Falcons pretty much daily, hearing from like owners and people in the building. And they're adamant on trying to get back to a championship contender like they were with Matt Ryan. And who knows if Michael Penix is the guy? Maybe he's not, but there's a lot of talent on that football team. And they had another good draft this past year, getting the 2 edge guys in Jalen Walker and James Pierce. They have a good secondary. They have one of the most explosive players in the league in Bijan. They have weapons on the outside with Drake London. And if they do decide to bring back Kyle Pitts, who had a really good year this year, I think there's something there. They're decent in cap space. They're a desired location for guys. Like, people love going to the A. So I do think it, like, all things considered, if you count structure, ownership, you're going to get a coach in there, a new coach that's going to have a GM they're on the same page. It's not, they're going to come in together. I think that's going to matter. So I have Atlanta number 2, but it's very slightly, and the rest are probably going to be surprising to a lot of people.
I'm sorry. I got to do this. We're talking ball. I got to talk ball back. For the Falcons, is there the destination's great. Talent's there. You hit on those 2 first round. You think you've hit on those 2 first round picks from last year's draft, but you don't have a first round pick this year.
Oh, yeah, 2 last year. That doesn't matter. Yeah, 2 last year. And you got your 2.
But no. But you, as the head coach, you did not draft those players, so you don't have a first round pick this year. What those were not your guy. Obviously, you're coming in and you're like, okay, these are my guys now. But like, you didn't take those guys last year, so you come in your first year and you're already playing behind the 8 ball here and saying, okay, I don't have a first round pick to work with. I got a Kirk Cousins contract that I still got to deal with. Like,
it's already been restructured. So I think the restructuring of Kirk Cousins' contract, when you look at the roster and you're a coach and you're saying, yeah, I don't have a first round pick this year, but I know what I'm walking into. I watched this Falcons defense go from not being able to touch a quarterback to having the most sacks they've had in a decade. I've watched a rookie lead my team with 10.5 sacks. I watched a secondary that was ranked in the top 10 against the pass. I believe it was top 5 against the pass this year. So I'm looking at those things and I'm saying, okay, I have the building blocks to get better. I have some cap space. I can go out and work. The offensive line has already been pretty sound. I should get my guys back that I lost that were injured this year. So I'm looking at that in totality. My main concern is obviously the quarterback position. Did I see enough from Michael Penix Jr. to be my franchise guy? If I'm a coach and I believe in Michael Penix Jr., then I'm salivating over this team. And not to mention, this is also the easiest division. We just talked about who won the division this year. Carolina at 8-9, like under 500. It's the easiest division to come in and have success in because there is so much volatility there. No team in that division is really in a good spot right now. You go to some of the other divisions, the NFC East, you're dealing with, the Cowboys mess and the Philly mess. If you're the Giants, and Washington's going to get Jane Daniels back. The NFC West with the Cardinals, hardest division in football. The AFC West, good luck if you're the Raiders, right? The Browns play in the NFC North. Like the Dolphins have to go against Drake May and Josh Allen. So when I think of division fit, like this makes the most sense if you're a coach is saying, how can I come in and have some immediate success? A team that ended the year on a 4-game win streak with a backup quarterback and was relatively kind of mediocre throughout the season, specifically from the quarterback position. I think if you believe in Michael Penix Jr. and you believe you can get something out of him or squeeze that a little bit more, I think that's the second best spot. And if you don't, then you could still draft the guy late in this draft anyways, because the quarterback class is not very good. And maybe you're looking for the year following when you will have a first round pick to maybe go get your franchise guy. But everything else you might already have in place. And I think that's what you use this first year to kind of build.
All right. I'm still not sold on the Falcons being 2, but I'm interested to see where 3 is.
Well, who do you have 2?
I think the Ravens are 1, and I think
I'll give you mine. I'll let you because I know you want to react to who I get at 3. Again, probably not going to be the popular choice. At 3, I have.
Hold on.
I will say this, and it's hurting me to say it. But.
I'm writing down who I think you're. Okay, go ahead.
Number 3 for me is the Raiders.
Oh, the Raiders. Okay, not who I was thinking you were going with. Okay.
Yeah, and the reason I'm saying the Raiders is because there's no better feeling than you talked about having like a guy you can come in and pick. There's no better feeling than to be able to come in and have the number 1 pick and pick your guy and say, this is what no matter what's on the roster, no matter what we have, this is what I'm going to build my franchise around. Now, when you start to look at all the holes the Raiders have, it's a lot, but there are some positives that need to be pointed out. Number 1, they have the number 1 pick. So they'll have a rookie quarterback on a rookie contract, whether that's Fernando Mendoza or Dante Moore, if that's the route they choose to go, or maybe they wait a year. They'll have like $111 million in cap space, somewhere around there. I've already said they're bringing back Max Crosby, despite his disgruntled unpleasure. So you got a staple on defense. You drafted Ashton Jeanty last year, so you have a skill position player that you can build around. The offensive line can be rebuilt in a year with that cap space. We've seen Kansas City do it. We've seen some other teams build an offensive line, go get to the best offensive lineman. So I think there are some pieces to build around. Is this going to be a winner next year? No. Are they in a tough division? Absolutely. But in the NFL, one thing I've kind of learned, it's starting to turn into, it's not a whole rebuilding process. It's like a retool and you can be good again. It doesn't take long. It really doesn't.
I think the alarm there would be the division that you're playing, you're joining. You're going into arguably one of the toughest divisions in football, and we talk about it, and we're going to talk about it in a little bit about how like this is an off year for the playoff teams, but realistically speaking, like this is a division that can produce 3 playoff teams, and the Chargers, the Broncos, and the Chiefs. So like I
think about Seattle in the NFC West though. Like we would have said that about when the Rams and the Niners were up there, and it was like Seattle did it like that.
But one of those teams has to be bad. One of those teams is
one of what teams?
One of those teams, because like you brought up the NFC West, like the Seahawks are good, they're in the playoffs. The 49ers are good, they're in the playoffs. And then the
Rams are good.
The Rams are good, they're in the playoffs. But there's 4 teams in a division. There's got to be one team that ends up being bad. And I think when you look at the landscape of that, like if I'm a coach, I'm like, it's going to be that was
Kansas City this year. They were bad. And I'm all about Kansas City, and I think they're going to be back. But when does Mahomes get back? That offense did not look the same. Does Mahomes come back Is it 6 games in and they're 1-5 and it's too late for next year? Travis Kelce retiring. They're getting older. Chris Jones getting older. And as much as I love like what Denver's done this year and what the Chargers have done this year, we have seen teams a la Washington make runs to the NFC Championship game and then look like a completely different team the next year. So this league has become a more year-to-year league unless you have the franchise quarterback. And this is how I truly feel. I think what gives the Kansas Cities and the Buffaloes and the Baltimores the edges is that their floors are so high when they have those guys versus like, do we know if Bo Nix is going to be good next year? Do we?
Bo Nix wasn't that good this year.
But my point is like he could literally toss the Broncos season out. They did exactly what Kansas City did last year and nobody's talking about it. They were like 9-1 in like 1-score games. You flip half of those games around, that's a 500 team. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know that you can count on that to be the same each and every season. Whereas the Chargers and Justin Herbert, I'm not saying this is going to happen. I'm just saying that I'm not as caught up as I used to be in the past about, oh, this division's so tough, because this division next year might be one of the worst in football.
Yeah.
Might be one of the best, might be one of the worst. Maybe we used to think the AFC North was good.
Yeah.
The Bengals suck. The Baltimore Ravens suck. The Steelers weren't very good.
The AFC South almost produced 3 playoff teams.
Exactly. Like these divisions are changing like every year. The NFC North is really strong, right? Like think about how the way Minnesota finished the year. And there was 4 solid teams there. If they had any kind of quarterback play from JJ McCarthy, who knows what that division looked like. So I just think with the Raiders salary cap and the flexibility they have with their roster, they slide in to me at number 3. I love having the number 1 pick and being able to control where you want your franchise to go.
If you're a head coach though, and you see the Raiders, they have the first overall pick. What if you're not sold on the quarterbacks that are in this class? Does that make you not want to go to that? That would make you not want to go to the Raiders, right?
Not really. I think it's even, I'll be honest. If I was a Raiders coach right now, I would be salivating at the fact being able to come in and not draft the number 1 pick. I'd be looking to trade that number 1 pick.
But do you think that there's going to be? I think there would be too much pressure from the top to take your franchise quarterback there.
And I'm telling you, put it this way: in my interview process, if they say, "What's that vision for our franchise?" and I don't feel strongly, and this is a guy who does not feel strongly about either one of these guys in this specific situation, I flat out say, like, "Look, I'm not here to take a quarterback number 1. I'm here to build a winning team. And if that's what you want, then hire me. But if not, then don't hire me. I'm here. I'm looking to trade that pick. And despite what people say, like nobody's really interested in these guys, a team is coming up to get one of those quarterbacks because people are desperate. And so I'm here to trade the pick. I'm going to get a bunch of picks. I'm going to build this roster out with my 113 in cap space. And then next year, maybe we do struggle again. But if we have a top 10 to 12 pick next year, guess what? We have some versatility. We can move up to get the guy we want, and let's go get our franchise quarterback. Now we have an offensive line, got the running game already, got Max Crosby. Maybe we got some weapons on the outside now. We built up that secondary, and now we're looking at a team that if we do hit on that rookie quarterback, we end up turning into a winning situation. So I think that there's just a lot of flexibility there, and I think flexibility with the roster construction is very, very important for a first-time head coach. I really liked when you look at what the Seahawks did in trading Russell Wilson and then Mike McDaniel taking over, or Mike McDonald taking over, and look what they did. Look how they drafted the free agents they went and got, and they built that franchise up like that. And it was so seamless because they had so much versatility and flexibility. And they said, well, we'll go get a Sam Darnold who's still young enough, and that can be our guy, and we'll test him out to see if that's going to be our future. But we have everything else in place. So he doesn't have to be great. And that's what we're looking at with Seattle right now. Yeah. So that would be my number 3. I'm done
great
on the front office.
I'm done jumping in and asking you questions. Oh, wow.
What?
Sorry to go off on a tangent, but a report just came up that Georgia Tech might be a potential landing spot for Justice Haynes. I don't know if you remember him from Michigan, but that'd be a good dude to have for Georgia Tech.
Hey, Tech's doing his thing. Tech's doing their thing there.
Is Haynes King still playing? Does he come back? I don't know if I don't know where he's at.
I don't know if they've declared, but I doubt.
That's a whole rabbit hole. All right, you got five more spots to rank here.
I'm gonna list them all, and then you can ask me any questions after. Okay, I have Ravens, Falcons, Raiders. Number 4, again, based on a lot of things, different reasons, I have the Titans.
Wow. Okay.
At number 4, I have the Giants at number 5. I have the Browns at number 6. I have the Cardinals at number 7. I have the Dolphins last.
Okay. So I have no problems with. I don't think I have many problems with any of what you have from 4 to 8. I think the Dolphins are the worst spot. You're tied to that Tua contract is going to be just miserable to get out of. And if you're not a Tua believer, like you're just going to end up in the can, just like Mike McDaniel. And then I thought honestly, when we were talking about your number 3 pick, I thought it was going to be the Browns. I thought you were going to have the Browns a little bit higher, like just to surprise me. Because I mean, like if you look at the Browns, like obviously it's the Browns. It's a mess. It's always a mess. But like
it's not a bad spot. It's the organization, just history. It's hard for me.
That's what I'm saying. Because like to me, on paper, and maybe this is very, very narrow-minded thinking, but on paper, to me, it's very similar to the Raiders. You have a high pick. You may be able to get your quarterback. You may not be able to. You have Shador, who showed signs this season. You can rock with him for a year and then go from there. You have a potential franchise running back in Quinshon Judkins. You have the best pass rusher in the league in Myles Garrett. With that first round pick this year, you could get a wide receiver to help your number 1 quarterback, whoever that may be in the future. I see it very similar to Vegas, but obviously
there's definitely less holes on the Cleveland Browns roster. Like that's a championship defense.
Yeah,
that's again with Quinshon, it's a great running game. I think you're going to have your quarterback, a few offensive linemen, and some weapons away from having a really, really good playoff team. Yeah. The organization just has let it's definitely gotten him out. Yeah, it's been bad for so long, and the Raiders hasn't been better either. But I just think it's one of those things. I just don't trust Cleveland in general, and I don't know if the Cleveland Browns can ever get a franchise quarterback. Like because I haven't seen it in my lifetime. I have not seen a franchise quarterback come through Cleveland, which is that's crazy.
Well, one franchise quarterback kind of came through Cleveland and left Cleveland to become a franchise quarterback in Baker Mayfield.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like being one with Cleveland, like, hey, this is our guy. And then, you still have the Deshaun Watson noise. Is he going to get an opportunity next year? I almost think you have to start him, at least try it, right? You invested so much, and then say, okay, it's over. Well, I don't know.
All of that will bring so much more noise as well, because then you're going to be like, oh, you're going to get the hate because you didn't start Shador over what Deshaun Watson brings, and you're going to get all that chaos that comes with it. I guess I'm also surprised that I'm not surprised at this. I think it's fair, but the Giants, a lot of people are going to bring up the Giants as a really good spot. You have your potential franchise quarterback who looked good this year in terms of Jackson Dart. Health concerns are there for both him and possibly your franchise running back, Cam Scadaboo. You have your top wide receiver. You have a pretty good defense, but I personally, I am fine. I like where you have the Giants here because there's the media that you have to deal with. There's the quarterback that you might not have for the longevity that you want a franchise quarterback to have. There's those concerns there, but
for the past decade, they've been bad and they have not really competed in the NFC East at all. And the talent, I would not argue with you. I think the talent they'll have, but the Eagles have owned them. Dak Prescott has owned them. And I just don't know that turns around quick enough for a new head coach. Like, I think a new head coach, even if they come in and develop that 3 years, I just don't think it's going to be enough.
Well, Giants fans will come at you saying the Eagles have not owned them. The Giants did beat the Eagles this year.
Giants beat the Cowboys too. When I say own them, it's not like from game to game. It's like
in the division.
Yeah, they've owned them in the division. Like the Giants have not. They've had the 1 year where they made the playoffs. Didn't they beat I don't know if they beat, or did they lose that year? Daniel Jones ended up winning that playoff game against the Vikings.
They won a playoff.
They beat the Vikings.
Yeah, I think it was 2017 when the Jags made their run too.
Yeah, but like I said, just overall, the Giants' ownership and the front office hasn't been great, and they kept Joe Shane. So how does that look for a new head coach coming in there? That the GM's already there. That's not my guy. We didn't come in together. That's been a big thing over the NFL over the past couple of seasons. I do like it more if I'm John Harbaugh. So if I'm Harbaugh and I go to the Giants, then that probably like if the Giants get John Harbaugh, I'm looking at the Giants very differently today than I'm saying as a coach if I was the coach going into it. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I mean, you're a first-year head coach. We're talking about, that's what I said at the beginning of this. You are on the market. You're one of the top head coaches. Well, you're first year, so okay. So Ravens the top spot, Falcons at number 2, Raiders at 3, Titans at 4, Giants, Browns, Cardinals, Dolphins round out the list as the most desirable destinations for a head coach. Very quickly, because I think this will be something good to ask. Outside of Harbaugh, who do you want? If the Cowboys were open right now, who would you want? And maybe
that's hard.
It maybe doesn't even have to be one of the ones that have been recycled, like the ones that just got fired, because there's Harbaugh, Morris, Carroll, McDaniel, Gannon, Dable's out there. You got all the coordinators out there from the Packers coordinator. I think it was Jeff Hafley. He's out there. You got who's the guy from
I'll be honest. I'm a big like I used to be a big defensive guy, like go defensive coordinator, build your defense. I like that Baltimore, Pittsburgh style. But in today's game, you have to have offensive innovation.
Yeah.
And for me right now, I think it would be somebody along the lines of like a Clint Kubiak, who was with Seattle. And I'm sure he'll get opportunities as the playoffs kind of go through. It would have to be somebody like
Brian Flores. I know that's the opposite of what you were just bringing up.
No, now don't get me wrong. If you're asking me who I want as my defensive coordinator, give me Brian Flores all day.
Yeah.
He makes like turns lemons into lemonade. But I think I would be talking about getting somebody who can develop a quarterback, innovative offense, Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan type guys, and Clint Kubiak comes from that. I think Clint Kubiak would be my number 1.
That's fair. All right. That's fair. All right. That does it for our Fun and Games Friday coaching carousel chat. Now we got to go to the heavier part of the show and talk. Yeah, you better drink up. Because we're about to start previewing these playoff matchups. It all starts on Saturday at 4:30 Eastern on Fox. The number 5 seed Rams take on the NFC South champions, the Carolina Panthers, with a losing record, made the playoffs. Just incredible to think about how that was a thing. But they did.
Not the first time, though. Not the first time. Let's give them a little credit. It's not the first time it's happened.
Not the first time. It's their first NFC South title since 2015. They made it happen that 2015 season. The last time they won the NFC South, made it to the Super Bowl. They lost, but I digress. You want to hear I just saw this nugget. I have to drop it. You brought up the fact we're talking about how they won the division, losing record, all that stuff. They're the only playoff team since 1970 with 0 wins as a favorite this season.
Well, were they even favored in a game? I mean, maybe against the Saints a few times.
2. They were favored in 2 regular season games this season. But okay, so Panthers and Rams. So let's start on the Panthers side because I do want to talk about Bryce Young this season. He hasn't been phenomenal this season. He's had spots, but Aaron, what does this game mean for Bryce Young? And are we kind of at a spot this season where it's just a smash success for Bryce Young in terms of his development this year, that no matter what happens to the result, this is a successful year for Bryce Young?
I do agree with that last sentence. It was a successful season for Bryce Young, no matter what. I'll be honest. I don't have huge expectations for this Panthers team in the playoffs. One thing I will say is they're the team that you look at them, you're like not overly impressed, but they are going to battle with a lot of teams. Like they just found a way to show up in certain moments in certain games and kind of just surprised everybody. But if you look at specifically the way Bryce played and his lack of turnovers this year and cutting back on the turnovers this year, I think he only threw 11 picks, which it may have been a career best. I mean, I know he's been in and out of the lineup, but a career best in interceptions this season. Maybe it wasn't, but also his elevation of how many touchdowns he threw and what he was able to do through the air. I just think you look at Bryce Young and you're kind of in limbo. Like, I think there's like, is he really our guy? But we can't say he's not, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, you want him to be the franchise, but then you look at him compared to all the other franchise quarterbacks, and you're like, well, does he really put us over the top?
Yeah.
I think he's serviceable, but is he a franchise guy? And that I think is a more scary place than just not having your guy, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, because it gives you that hope. Like, that's what I was worried about with Trevor Lawrence for a little bit, and obviously things are changing there. But like, I was worried, like, oh, we were successful this year, and then but really there's those underlying concerns that it's not sustainable, and that's what you could be seeing here with Bryce Young. And to answer your question about Bryce Young and his interceptions this year, this is actually a career high in interceptions for Bryce Young with 11. He's thrown He threw 10 in his rookie year, 9 last year when he was kind of in and out of the lineup.
How does that compare? How does that compare to like his touchdown to interception ratio? Like, I mean, does that take like pass attempts? Was there more? I don't want
to. His touchdown percentage was up, so it was career high in touchdown percentage. So he had 20. I mean, it was a career high in touchdowns for him this year with 23. Okay. So I mean, this was a good year for Bryce Young compared to what he's been through. I think Dave Canales should get a lot of credit for what he's been able to do to kind of. Very similar to what we talk about with the Jags, where it's like simplifying what you have on offense and putting the ball where it needs to go in terms of giving it to your best players. You're giving it to Rico Dowdle a lot. You're giving it to Tedero McMillan a lot. You're just doing what you need to do to win games. You're not going too crazy with just trying to force Bryce Young to be something he's not. But I think it is more of that back half of what we were talking about, where this is a smash success season for Bryce Young. But like you said, it doesn't mean that like this is going to be sustainable. Now, on the other side is the Los Angeles Rams, who you have been on record multiple times this season saying you're the best team in the league, not just the best team in the NFC, but the best team in the league. They're matched up against a Panthers team who, whether you think they deserve to be in or not, they're in. Do you think this is the perfect matchup for the Rams to start the playoffs with? Because they didn't get the bye, but it's against a Panthers team that's not as talented as every other team in the NFC, but also you have that, like, it's not like you're going into this game, you're the favorites by 1 million and like you don't have anything to like really motivate you. Like, this Panthers team beat LA. So there's like already like, okay, there's motivation, there's a weaker team, there's a like all of this seems to be working out. Am I crazy for thinking this is the perfect matchup for the Rams?
I don't want to say perfect matchup. You can't say perfect matchup for a team that already beat you. The one thing I'll say that is not a good sign for the Rams is in that first game against Carolina, the weather was bad. The weather's supposed to be bad again tomorrow. Like there's possible thunderstorms. There's weather in the area. It could make the game a little bit different. But I do like the matchup if you're the Rams. I think if out of all the teams that are in the playoffs, this is the one you want to play, right? It's the go on the road against a team. I might as well go on the road against the worst seed that is possible, which is Carolina. So I do expect a different type of game from the Rams. I don't expect them to make the same mistakes that they made the first time around. Bryce Young was really, really good in that Rams game the first time. I believe he threw 3 touchdowns. And he played a really clean game in some choppy weather conditions, but a lot of that was the second half. I thought the Rams kind of faltered a little bit, didn't have the same offensive output. Devontae Adams, we'll see. You know, he's coming back, and they're getting some guys healthy. Tyler Higbee was back last week. I think their Rams are getting healthy at the right time, and I do think the Carolina's probably overmatched, but I don't want to say it's the perfect matchup for the Rams because you lost to this team already. You got to go back to their place, and it could be similar conditions to the way it was the first time. And in the NFL, we all know it's not the difference between these teams is minute when you compare them at the end of the day. So I like the matchup. I do think the Rams get the win, but I don't think Carolina's going out without a little bit of a fight.
Yeah, I don't. I might be on
the line on that game right now.
10.5. I was just about to say if
I don't love that.
If everything holds pat with where the line is and the Rams being 10.5 point favorites, it's the largest. They're the largest road favorite in any playoff game since 1970.
Yeah, I've seen this too many times. I watched this when Seattle and the Saints played, when Seattle won the division at like eight wins or whatever in that playoff game, and they ended up beating the Saints, the big Marshawn Lynch run or whatever. If it's 10.5, I'm all over Carolina this one. This game could be 27-17 Rams, and I wouldn't be surprised. And Like I'm covered. Like I'm all over Carolina plus 10.5.
I think the Rams cover. I'm on the opposite side of you. I do think this is I think this is the perfect matchup for the Rams in all areas of how you want to look at it. I think that, like I said before, you get the built-in bulletin board material where you've already lost this team, so you want that revenge. But then also, it's a team that's weaker, that is weaker than you, and it's a road test, so you get that test for you. It's not necessarily like you're just having like the first round bye for teams. Like, sometimes we always bring up the rest versus being able to keep that rhythm. Rams are going to be able to keep that rhythm.
But the Rams have not been in rhythm. Like they have not. It's not like they've played that great down the stretch. Like let's be honest. They've lost 2 of their last 3 games, and they didn't play well against the Cardinals until late. Like the Cardinals were right there late, and that was at home. They lost to the Falcons. They lost to the Seahawks. They had that shootout game with Detroit. It's not like the Rams have been playing excellent.
Yeah, I think that almost makes it even better. Like it's a get right situation. Like then that's another thing. It's like, okay,
I ain't trying to get right in the playoffs.
That's
like
fair.
You should have got right before the playoffs. I'm not. Again, I do think the Rams are going to win, and I'm not saying it's out of the realm of the possibility they cover 10.5. But on the road in the playoffs, I don't love a 10.5 point spread. It just screams like bait for everybody. That's like, oh yeah, Rams, they're going to blow them out. Like I don't know.
Yeah. In that first game, Matthew Stafford, 243 yards, 2 passing touchdowns, 3 turnovers. On the other side, Bryce Young, only career game with 75% completion percentage, 3+ passing touchdowns and 0 interceptions.
That Carolina secondary is real.
Yeah.
That Carolina secondary can cover. The only thing I'll say is like J.C. Horn will probably be on Devontae Adams most of that game. Puka might have a big day. Mike Jackson, I don't think they'll follow. They may not follow both. Maybe they don't follow anybody, but I think that's the biggest factor. I think if Devontae's back healthy, it makes it really more tough for the Rams. But if he's not 100%, that Carolina secondary, they can play. They can play.
Yeah, they'll make it. They'll make it, which kind of even plays into more of why I think it's the perfect matchup, because it's going to be just tough enough to where like you get a little bit of a test, but like not enough to where like you're worried. I think they cover
27-17. Rams win.
35-17 Rams. That's where I'm landing. The next game on the docket is the number 7 seed Packers taking on the 2 seed Bears, the NFC North champion Bears. They've already met twice this season. In the first game, it came down to a last-second interception from Caleb Williams trying to win them the game. And then the last game that they played, it came down to Caleb Williams winning them that game against the Packers, which really played a major part in them being able to clinch the NFC North. Aaron, I hate asking this question because I think it's a very lazy host question, but I'm going to ask it anyways because there's so many.
Because you're a really lazy host.
No also way. Also accurate. But what do you expect to happen in Chapter 3 here?
Might surprise some people. I think Green Bay wins this, and I don't know that it's particularly like some close football game. I think Green Bay is a better team than Chicago, and I think both games Green Bay had the games won. The turnovers late, obviously, which Jordan Love's back healthy. They're rested. Obviously, losing Micah Parsons hurts.
But you just brought this up with the Rams, how they're kind of backing into the playoffs. They're struggling. They've lost 4 straight. The Packers have.
That's great. They've also been without Jordan Love, their quarterback. They're healthy. Chicago's defense is abysmal. It's not good. They turn the football over. I'll give them that. They're really good at creating turnovers. But when they don't get turnovers, I think I heard a stat. When they don't have multiple turnovers in a game, they're like 1-6. Like in the playoffs, Jordan Love has shown he's not a turnover guy. He's been able to play in big moments. I think the weapons on Green Bay, when you have a Josh Jacobs back healthy, you have Dobbs and Wicks and Jaden Reed and Matthew Golden, and like your guys are healthy. I don't know that the Bears can cover them. And for me, despite the loss of Micah Parsons really hurting the pass rush, I think Caleb will be creative, but the Bears offense has been so inconsistent and they've been so reliant on heavy run game, and when they haven't got that run game, it's been hard for them. I just think Green Bay is a better football team, and they're more battle tested. They've been here before. Great season by the Bears. Not knocking them whatsoever. They are obviously trending up, but I've been saying this for a while now that their run was going to come to a screeching halt at some point, and I think it's coming this week. I just think Green Bay is a better football team, and she agrees with me.
Layla doesn't like it. She's a big Bears fan.
Layla said, "Tell them the truth."
She's a big Caleb Williams fan. She likes how he paints his nails. She likes the nails. That's her thing.
Give me Green Bay all day.
They're 1.5-point favorites, so that's that you just think they win by. Do you think they win by 10.5?
No, I think it's a touchdown game. I think it's a touchdown game, but that's big. When you talk about like road playoff games and stuff like that, and that's a big number, being winning by touchdown on the road. So I think it's very similar. I think it's going to be somewhere along the lines of what I think they played to a 28-21 game earlier this year, somewhere around that is what I'm looking at. And
they won they won 28-21 in week 14, and then the Bears won 22-16 in week 16. That was the Caleb Williams 46-yard touchdown to DJ Moore in overtime to get him there. And that was without Jordan Love, like you had mentioned before. That was without Jordan Love. So and let's just, for the record, you have been a Bears guy. You have been very supportive of the Bears this season.
Absolutely. I love what the Bears have done.
But I'm just thinking on the Bears.
I think they're a year early. Like, I'm not saying they're early, like they can't do it. I'm just saying, like, this is a team that's trending up and winning the division and doing all that stuff this year. Shout out to them. They deserve all the credit in the world. But they're entering territory that they haven't been in.
Yeah. And
you're going to see a running theme of my picks in this playoffs of teams that have been here before, and some players that haven't. So
that's the perfect lead into our next game, the game that kicks off the Sunday slate, the 6th seed Buffalo Bills taking on the AFC South champions, the Jacksonville Jaguars. 1:00 Eastern. Duval.
I was gonna say my Duval's much better than Liam Cohen.
Yeah, you do have a better Duval than Liam Cohen. That was good. But Bills, Jaguars. I had mentioned before about lazy hosting, and I put it in my notes here for what I want to. I have all my questions listed out, all of what the show's going to look like, and for Bills Jaguars, I put let Aaron take the wheel.
Let's see Jesus take the wheel. What? Because you didn't want to have any kind of influence, or what?
I do. I'm just. I don't know where.
You know what? Let's wait on before I'm going to interrupt you. Let's reverse this. I'm the host. Vinny. Obviously, the experience leans heavily on the side of Buffalo. But what Liam Cohen and this offense has done with Jacksonville, specifically over the back half of the season, you can't take for granted. I want to know first, and just as strictly about Trevor Lawrence, what do you expect from Trevor Lawrence in this game?
I think
he has played in the playoffs before.
Yeah, he's got 2 games in the playoffs before. When they had the comeback against the Chargers, he started off very slow. There was a lot of turnovers in that game to start off the game, but then they were able to find a way back. They have battled through adversity, and Trevor Lawrence has been at the front and center of that, so you can't discredit him there. And then obviously the Chiefs game, I think when you look back at his playoff experience, there are even more signs of positivity when it comes to Trevor Lawrence, because you look at who he was throwing to that 2017 year. He was throwing to Christian Kirk, who was his number 1 wide receiver, who is now basically just irrelevant in Houston. Marvin Jones, who's not in the league. Jamal Agnew, who's been a
kick return specialist.
Exactly. Like this is who he's, and Evan Ingram. I shouldn't throw out Evan Ingram, but it's Evan Ingram, who also has kind of vanished a little bit. This is the best group of supporting cast characters that he has around him. And Jacoby Myers, Parker Washington stepping up, Travis Etienne's having a great season. I think this is the best year that he has in terms of weapons around him and the play calling. I think that I trust Trevor Lawrence in this game to be able to take advantage of what the Bills defense is. They're not the best defense in the league. He's going to be able to take advantage of that. I think this game comes down to Josh Allen, Trevor Lawrence, who's going to make the last play. And I think when it comes to it for, like you had mentioned before, the playoff experience, I think the playoff experience when it comes down to that final play will lean towards the Josh Allen side over the Trevor Lawrence side.
When you think, okay, so I mean, that's all. I agree with everything there. When you think about how can Jacksonville win this game? What is the key? If the Jags win and Sunday you wake up, you watch the game, Jags win, why?
The headline will read, Jaguars rip off Superman's cape.
You've already made the headline. I'm so weak.
That's honestly, that just popped in my head. That was
so the defense has to get it done.
The defense has to get it done, and by getting it done, I mean forcing Josh Allen to make mistakes, turnovers. That's going to be the key to this game. And obviously, the Jags have a franchise high in interceptions this year with 22. So like they are forced. That this is the most ball hungry defense I've seen the Jaguars have in a very long time. And a lot of people love to compare this team against the 2017 team. That 2017 team was very physical. That 2017 team had all of those dogs on that team. Malik Jackson, Calais Campbell, Jalen Ramsey, all the dogs were on that team. This defense for the Jaguars now, very ball hungry. They see ball, get ball, and you kind of live and die by that, which is kind of why I think that Josh Allen can exploit it a little bit, because it is a team that just will get beat from time to time.
You got to give them credit. They also stop the run really well. They're really good against the run, which helps them be able to create some of those turnovers, because it forces teams in second and third and long situations and have to be a little bit more aggressive, which creates those opportunities.
Yes, and I think that when it comes to how the Jaguars win this game, it is forcing Josh Allen to make those turnovers, get in his head, get in his face. Hopefully this makes sense, but the Jaguars have to force those turnovers on Josh Allen, and it's going to start from up front. It's going to start from those two guys on the edge in Josh Hines Allen and Trayvon Walker. They're going to have to get into Josh Allen's face to make him throw those interceptions, force the fumbles, make those types of plays. I think that's where it starts. And if the Jaguars don't end up with 4+ sacks in this game, they're not going to win.
I like that take. I really believe that they're going to be able. I think if you can stop the running game from Buffalo, I think it really changes the dynamic on how to beat the Bills. Specifically, if you're not letting Josh Allen escape the pocket. I don't think it's necessarily about the sacks in this game. I think it's about containing Josh Allen and forcing him to beat you with his arm to wide receivers that really don't separate well. It's not like they got a guy that's just going to go out and create a bunch of separation in man-to-man coverage. He's looking for tight ends. He's looking for his backs. I think if you force him to sit in there and he can't escape, I think that to me is what's going to give them the edge. They have the guys to do it.
Yep.
They really, really do. But I'm with you. I think the experience of Josh Allen, it's going to be one of those situations where I think this is a really, really close game. And then I think he makes a play when he's supposed to make a play, because that's what they pay those guys to do.
Yeah.
And I think he gets it. I do think he gets it done. Not to mention, I do think the Jags offensively have to run the football. Like they have to stay so committed to running the football, because this Bills pass defense is really good, but they don't stop the run really well. And I think this is the game where Travis Etienne could be like payday Travis Etienne. Like it's like pay me type. Like this is, I want my contract. And I think he can prove it in this game. And if he does that, they can keep the ball out of Josh Allen's hands. The Jags have a real good shot in this game. I really do think they can win this game, but I'm with you. I lean Buffalo making a play late, Josh Allen being Superman. The cape's kind of ripped off, but it didn't rip off all the way, and that Buffalo gets the win. But this is the game I'm most excited about, because I honestly believe the winner of this game is going to the Super Bowl. That's how I feel.
I would not mind that. Obviously,
of course you would.
But yeah, no, I agree with you when it comes to the running game. That Travis Etienne is going to have to be a big factor in this game, and I think you got to limit Josh Allen. I think I can pivot to what you had said about it not necessarily being about the sacks, but putting that pressure on Josh Allen, keeping him contained, and make him have to make plays. But that's the thing, Josh Allen can make those plays at the end of the day. So that is my my thought. But I think that when it comes to
Great unbiased takes today. I'm so proud of you.
I told you that's why I wanted you to take the wheel. I wanted you to take the wheel because I knew if I asked a question, it would have come out as me being biased. Tell the wife I said hello.
Vinny said hello. She said, "Hey, Vinny." She said you're still a piece of shit.
That is accurate. I can confirm that. I'm looking at my calendar right now, and every day that ends with Y is
Jalen Booty Hurts is in our TikTok. Oregon or Indiana? Who you got tonight?
Indiana. I think Indiana.
I got Oregon.
Really?
I got the Ducks.
Okay.
I got the Ducks winning it all. So.
Wow. Okay. I can see it. They've been really good. I mean, Dan Lanning is a great coach. I think he's coaching those guys.
Dan Lanning.
Really good. But yeah, no, I think this Jags game to put a bow on it, I think it's going to be a close game. I find it funny because we talk about it being a close game and what it comes down to one final play. Well, the Jags do have one of the best kickers in the league, so it's like if it comes down to kicking, advantage Jaguars. But I think it's going to come down to Josh Allen just making that one last Superman play, maybe under 2 minutes to go. Maybe he's
never kicked in a playoff game.
Never kicked in a play. Confirmed, yes, but yes. But I do see it. I do see final 5 minutes. Josh Allen is down. Let's just say 27-24, and he ends up leading a drive, scores. Jags get the ball back with less than 2 minutes to go. I think that's where it ends. I see this game playing out very similarly to that Chiefs game. Not to throw the lazy analysts out there of comparing a Josh Allen game to a Patrick Mahomes game, but like I can see
I get you.
I can see it being very similar to where it's going to come down to that final play. We've seen Trevor Lawrence do it before. I'm hoping he can do it again.
The one thing I don't want to see, and I'll end here on for the Jags fans, is if this game is close and Trevor Lawrence plays well, and that situation comes up, and he throws a pick to end the game, or he doesn't go down and win. I don't want to see the Jags fans on here. He sucks. We need to get rid of him. I told you. Blah blah blah. I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to see it. Y'all keep your mouth shut. Trevor Lawrence has arguably been the MVP for the past 8 weeks of the year. I don't want to hear it. Like Trevor Lawrence is, again, we have to take things in like little sections, and he's had one of the most unstable franchises since he's been there. Head coaches, coordinators, whatever. He's finally got a coach that's come in there and seems like he knows what he's doing offensively. I think you have to just say, hey, we had a really good year. No matter what happens, we've had a really good year. He's trending in the right direction the way he's played, and we've already paid him. Yeah. So he's our guy, and let's go into next season. And again, hopefully it's not a loss, but we go into next season with some confidence that Liam Cohen's the guy. We got our quarterback. The defense is flying around. Like we have something to build here. But I don't want to see the close game. Trevor throws a pick late, and it's like, oh, Trevor Lawrence sucks. We need a new quarterback. Blah. Like I don't want to see it.
Yeah, that's fair. Do you want emotional, Vinny? Real quick for this.
It's okay to be emotional. Go ahead.
No. So I and you always make fun of me for this. You always rip me for this, and it rightfully so sometimes. But there's two things that keep jumping out to me. Three things that keep jumping out to me about this game. A lot of people are like, I have been really pushing for the Jaguars to get the respect that they deserve. Not enough.
Everybody's picking them.
And now everyone's picking them. So that's one. That's one. Number two, the Bills and Josh Allen, they 8 straight road playoff losses, tied for the second longest streak all time. 8 straight. Yeah. So they're due. That's number two. The last time the Jaguars played the Bills, Monday Night Football 2 years ago, Josh Allen threw 4 touchdowns in the first half and got benched for the fourth quarter because they were up. I think the final score was like they put 50 on us. And that was in Buffalo, though. It's a little different. So those are the things that are in the back of my mind. Like,
I know, same old Jags.
There's the shoe. And I tell people at work all the time, like the shoe has to drop eventually, but it doesn't. Like you have yelled at me before. It doesn't.
It doesn't. It's either gonna be your year or it's not. But I mean, like you said, this game is so up in the air. It wouldn't surprise me if any of those things happen. It wouldn't surprise me if they don't. Firecracker says Bills have never won a Super Bowl, and this is their first time ever going to the Super Bowl. Hey, very well could be. You just never know. The Chiefs aren't in the way. But I will say, I'm a big fan. Listen, I am now the new member, not the newest member, the number one member in the Parker Washington fan club, by the way. I love that dude. Now, I like when I tell you he's like my favorite player in the league, like I am the number one Parker Washington fan. I think that dude is a dog.
He is.
Give me all the Parker Washington I can handle. I love Parker Washington. Dude, he's a dog. That's all I'm saying. He's a dog. Let's move on, and we got to get to other games.
That's fair. That's fair. And also, that was number 4 that I forgot. By the way, that this is like that wide open year. Like this is Josh Allen's chance. Like there's no better spot. Like of course, you think when it's the best spot for Josh Allen to make it to a Super Bowl, he's going to lose in the wild card round? No, get out of here. Okay, next game: 49ers taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. The NFC East champion Eagles taking on the 6th seed San Francisco 49ers. This is a team. This includes a team that we have been very critical of throughout the season in terms of the Philadelphia Eagles not playing to what they're capable of, what that roster is capable of. We've taken a few shots at Nick Sirianni, but the Eagles are here. They won the NFC East. They're hosting this playoff game against the San Francisco 49ers. Lots of doubt has come along the way with this Philadelphia Eagles. Aaron, if they beat the San Francisco 49ers, that just wash it all away?
No. That's as simple as I can get. No, it doesn't wash it away. No. I may surprise you here, but this game isn't even going to be close. This is the biggest. This might sound crazy. The Eagles are going to take care of the Niners pretty easily. I'm confident in that. And you know me, I am not a Philly guy.
I thought you were going the other way. Everyone's been this has been a hot game for people to take the I don't even know if it's this has been a hot game for people to take the upset. Eagles 5.5 point favorites over the Niners.
Listen, sorry, that's my boss calling. That's my boss calling. Listen, the 49ers have done crazy well with what they have. They have no number one wide receiver. They are Christian McCaffrey centric. Brock Purdy has played well down the stretch, but this Philadelphia Eagles defense is really, really good. And that 49ers defense, specifically against the run, is like Swiss cheese. I expect Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts to run wild offensively. And the experience, obviously, this is one of the games that they both have experience, so it's a little bit different. But the Niners have not been overly impressive to me. They just haven't. And I know people they've won as many games and all that stuff, but I look at their schedule and who they really beat. It just never really came to me like this is a team that has a chance to win a Super Bowl. I thought they did well with what they had, but they're beat up. They're not healthy. They don't have Fred Warner. They don't have Nick Bosa. They don't have any wide receivers. Like, I just think it's too much to overcome. Philadelphia rolls in this game to me. I don't even know if there's much analysis for me. And I know people are thinking because the Eagles have struggled offensively, Jalen Hurts has got it done when it mattered. He's not a turnover guy. And I think the only way the Niners are going to win games is if, like in the playoffs, is if they're creating a lot of turnovers. And the Philly just doesn't turn the ball over like that. So unless you get some outlier game from Jalen Hurts where he's throwing the 3 interceptions, or earlier this year where he had the 5 turnovers, which I don't see happen very often from him, I just don't think it's going to happen. To me, they don't match up well with the receivers. A.J. Brown, who's going to guard him? They got Deommodore Lenoir. I can't even say his name. Deommodore Lenoir, but he might cover Smitty. Who's covering A.J. Brown? Like, the matchup's not great for me. I think the last 2 times these teams met in the playoffs was the year that Brock Purdy got hurt and Christian McCaffrey was playing quarterback. It could look like that. That's how I feel. Like I just don't think this game is very close. I think Eagles roll.
The last time they did play, it was the game that Brock Purdy left and tore his UCL. So that was I thought you were going a different direction about that. That's why I really I wrote that question thinking you were on the Niners here, but that's I
win and lose either way in this game. I hate both teams from a personal bias standpoint. I don't like one team's going to lose. I'm glad they play each other. One of them's going to be eliminated, but I just don't see it. And then, I'm I do not like Philadelphia. I do not like Nick Sirianni. I think Kyle Shanahan's a better coach.
Yeah.
I just think Philadelphia is a better football team.
Well, that's I would. The other question I had here is at what point did the injuries catch up with the Niners? And it sounds like based off of what you were just saying, it's Sunday.
It's now. Yeah, it is now. They've done. I give a lot of credit to Kyle Shanahan for what he's been able to do, but I mean, you can only do so much. They're just beat up, especially in all the key places. Like you just can't continue to have those injuries and think you're going to come away with wins. I don't see it. Maybe I'm wrong. I know they found a way to win games, but you look at that schedule. Just no. I'm trying to think about like who they've played. They beat the Rams early in the year, and they beat the Seahawks early in the year, and like those are like the wins that I think we lean on early.
Yeah,
but they haven't had the competition. So
the Bears recently they beat them in week 17.
Offensively, they did beat them.
Yeah,
but I felt about the Bears too. Like the defense of the Bears, that was like a perfect matchup for the Niners. They were beat up. They couldn't stop the Bears, but the Bears couldn't stop them. And it really was like who had the ball basically almost last.
Yeah.
Very high scoring game. I think the Niners are a good team. I'm not trying to discredit them, but when you're a good team and you're going against teams that like I think are building towards something, and the Eagles are still the Super Bowl champs. Yeah. And somebody's got to beat them in order for them to be out. And as much as I don't like their offense and the way they run things, I just think Philadelphia wins.
See, Eagles fans, we give you guys credit.
Yeah, man, I'm not a hater. I try to keep it real.
So okay, all right, Eagles by 1 million, I guess. Chargers, Patriots round out the slate on Sunday. The NFC or AFC East champion Patriots taking on the last seed in the AFC, the Los Angeles Chargers. We got two quarterbacks here. One that's might end up winning the MVP in Drake May. That's the
Hell no.
That's a separate conversation. That's a separate conversation. But I wanted to start off with Justin Herbert here because I saw a list yesterday. I think it was yesterday of quarterbacks under the most pressure in this postseason. Josh Allen was one. But Justin Herbert wasn't on this list.
Yeah, because he plays for the Chargers. That's why.
So that's where I want to go though. Like how much pressure to me, he's next to Josh Allen, he should have the most pressure on him out of all the quarterbacks that are in this postseason.
I don't disagree with you, but it's never going to happen. This is my whole argument. I'm a Cowboys fan, so I deal with quarterback pressure every week, right? Like this is my whole argument. Like people will continuously put Justin Herbert over Dak Prescott and all this stuff and like bring up playoff wins. And Justin Herbert ain't won a damn thing. Not a damn thing. All we watched him do was choke in a playoff game, right? Like he hasn't done anything. So yes, there should be pressure. I 100% agree with you. Probably not the best spot for him to have pressure on the road against New England, against a team that's really hot right now.
Yeah.
I think I'll be honest with you. If the Chargers were healthy up front, I think the Chargers are a better football team than the Patriots. I really do.
Yeah.
Overall, I think they got the talent. I really do. But when you take like everything New England's been able to do, the way that Drake May is playing, and they're just like clicking on all cylinders right now, it's really hard for me to pick with the offensive line struggles of the Chargers.
Yeah,
it's really hard for me to pick against New England.
What the Patriots are doing well is exactly what the Chargers struggle against. So it's just like we talked earlier about the Rams and them playing the Panthers, and how that could be viewed as the perfect matchup. This is the exact opposite of a perfect matchup for the Los Angeles Chargers. And I agree with you. I think that this is, and I honestly, I'm not the biggest Patriots guy.
I'm rooting against, I want the Chargers to win. I'll be honest with you. As much as I don't like Justin Herbert or the narrative, I want the Patriots to lose.
I think I'm in that same boat as well. I'm not the biggest believer in the Patriots. And I don't, and I asked you the question about when we were talking about 49ers Eagles, if the Eagles were to win, does the doubt wash away because they beat the 49ers? I wouldn't say the Patriots winning this game washes away the doubt.
Oh no,
that I have for them.
Mm-mm.
So I think that's.
I agree. I think they've had a fairly easy schedule.
Yep.
But Drake May doesn't take away what Drake May has done and what the team has done. I just don't think have been tested as much. it is a team that has not been to this point in the playoffs. And not that the Chargers have a ton of playoff experience either, but when they go to play maybe some Buffalo or a Houston or in one of those teams, you just never know. They've been in the playoffs a few times and have that experience. So I don't think it wipes away anything. I just think it was a pretty good matchup for the Patriots in round one for them to get.
Yeah.
Still not a guarantee. Still
No.
not a guarantee. The Chargers do have, I mean, Justin Herbert can play. Nobody's saying he can't play. They do have weapons. That defense has some guys on it. You never know. I just think the Patriots are a little bit better. So I think they get the win in this one. And we're here again next year talking about top 10 conversations of quarterback, top 5 conversations of quarterbacks, and guys throwing Justin Herbert in there and then blaming something else other than Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
And again, I'm okay with that if you want to be consistent. Don't pick and choose when it applies.
Look at the most recent TikTok comment.
What, Vinny 2 times?
That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying.
Anyone can win the Super Bowl. It is going to come down to experienced coaches and quarterback. 100%, 100%, which is why my Super Bowl champion is the Los Angeles Rams.
Wow, we're just jumping into that. Just jumping into the
McVay and Stafford. I said it. I've been saying it all year though. Like
I agree,
and I love Seattle. I love what Seattle's doing, but McVay and Stafford, I think those are my guys.
Yeah, no, I agree. Just a fun nugget about this game about the Chargers and the Patriots here. We talk about how this is not the game that the Chargers want. Drake May this year ranks top 2 in NFL in the NFL in completion percentage, passing touchdowns on throws over 15 plus yards. The Chargers defense ranks bottom 2 in completion percentage, passing touchdowns on throw. Wait, this stat. Never mind. Disregard the stat. Reading the stat wrong. Abort the mission.
Hey, hopefully I'm glad you worked that out now and you didn't work that out in your show.
Yeah, no. This is why I'm not on air. This is why I'm behind the scenes.
Well, no, I don't want you to give those stats to somebody.
Well, obviously the anchors that I I'm not going to get into this. If I were to give you that stat, you would be smart enough to say
something's off.
Something's off. As I was reading, I was like, wait, the Chargers defense hasn't been that bad. This doesn't make sense at all. So never mind. Disregard. Not the brightest bulb in the box. Let's wrap this up. We have one more game to talk about. Probably the least talked about game, I feel like, out of all of them. It's the Monday Night Football game between the Houston Texans and the Pittsburgh Steelers. It took the Steelers all the way till the very, 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 very end to clinch a playoff spot on a Tyler Loop missed field goal in that game against the Ravens. The difference there we could be talking about Mike Tomlin being fired versus John Harbaugh being fired. But that's not where we're at here. The Steelers did win. They won the AFC North. Now they host the Houston Texans here. I don't want to. Are we not giving the Pittsburgh Steelers enough credit here for the experience?
Yep, you're not. I told you that this thing I was talking about. I was going to talk about experience, and those were a lot of my picks. I come out saying I have Pittsburgh winning this game, and it's not because I don't believe Houston has an elite defense, but look at that, Vinny. 2 times you took my stat. 23 straight wins on Monday night at home for Pittsburgh. Mike Tomlin's record on Monday night: 22-3. Coach, quarterback, experience, get DK Metcalf back, which they need desperately in this game because they're going to have to find a way to generate points. Something in my stomach, and it's not because I think Pittsburgh necessarily a better football team than Houston. Something in my gut just tells me Pittsburgh's going to find a way. And maybe it's my Mike Tomlin love. Maybe it's my admiration for Aaron Rodgers' ability to still throw the football the way he throws the football. And maybe it's that. And as much as I like Houston's team, they've been inconsistent offensively, and they've been reliant solely on that defense. And the defense has shown some cracks lately. Not saying they've been great or have been bad.
That Colts game against Riley Leonard.
There's been some cracks shown on the Houston Texans defense the past couple of games. I mean, we saw even against the Raiders, like, it just didn't look like the dominant team that we had saw like midway through the season. So as much as I love Houston, I'm going with Pittsburgh. And as crazy as it sounds, it's going to be Pittsburgh getting their first playoff win since 2016 or whatever it is. And I'm excited. I'm excited for Aaron Rodgers to get that last playoff win, because that will be the last playoff win, by the way. It's not. I don't have them making a deep run, but I do have them winning this game at home on Monday Night Football, and people quieting the noise surrounding Mike Tomlin once again.
Man, I don't disagree with you about any. I don't know, that Houston defense. Like it has shown cracks.
Huge game from Kenneth Gainwell. I mean, we've already seen huge games from Kenneth Gainwell.
Yeah,
I think this is going to be a huge game from Kenneth Gainwell. I think the check downs and him and Pat Freiermuth and like over the middle of the field is going to be big, because I mean DK, he might get a couple of plays, but that secondary is really, really good. I think it's going to be a lot of short passing. They're going to have to try to run the football a little bit. And Pittsburgh's defense is going to have to come to play. And there might be they might set them up in some good field position, steal a turnover, a possession or two. But Houston's offense is not great. Like Woody Marks, we haven't seen him in the playoffs. He's been okay. But Nico, that's it. Like if you can get Nico under control, it's not like they got a bunch of weapons out there. They got guys that are all rookies and young, Jalen Noel and Jaden Higgins and those guys. So give me Pittsburgh in a low scoring, grind it out, Chris Boswell late field goal wins the game type game.
Hey, Boz hasn't looked good though. He almost lost them that game against Baltimore.
When it matters, give me Boswell.
All right, so let's wrap it up here.
Kickers in football.
So we're gonna go rapid fire to finish this up here. We're going to go rapid fire to finish this up here now that we know your wild card round results. You have Bills over the Jags, you have Steelers over the Texans, and you have Patriots over the Chargers. So that would mean Bills, Patriots, Steelers, Broncos. Steelers, Broncos, right? That's what you say.
Yep.
And then Patriots, Bills. Okay. Over on the let's finish this AFC side up. So that's Broncos, Bills. AFC Championship game. Bills represent the AFC. Let's go over to the NFC. You had the Rams, you had the Eagles, and you had the Packers. So that would be Packers, Seahawks, and Rams, Eagles.
Rams, Seahawks
in the NFC Championship.
The Rams win.
Bills, Rams, Super Bowl.
McVay and Stafford get their second ring. Rams win. Matt Stafford retires, walks off into the sunset, a Hall of Famer. And Josh Allen is another one of these.
No.
He gets there, though. He gets there.
I was about to say, then all of the concerns, and we had talked about this before, if Josh Allen doesn't take advantage of how wide open this AFC is, there's going to be major changes. If he makes it to the Super Bowl, I don't see those changes happening. I think that
no. So he's the only he's like the quarterback with the most playoff wins without a Super Bowl appearance.
Yeah,
think about that. He has that many playoff wins and doesn't have a Super Bowl appearance, and no other quarterback has that. So he's got to get there.
I'm gonna end up going with Texans, Bills, Patriots. So then Texans, Broncos, Patriots, Bills. Oh wait, no, that would be Texans, Patriots, Bills, Broncos. Give me the Bills. Give me the Patriots, Bills, Patriots, AFC Championship game, Bills, and then in the NFC, I'm going with the Rams. With the Rams Bills. I'm going with the Rams Bills, and
he got Seahawks, Jags in the Super Bowl.
Ooh,
what a great! That'd be an interesting Super Bowl. I know you would love it.
I'm not going to say no to that one. Duval. Yeah, I'm not going to say no to that, but all right, we have it now on record, and everyone listening, you guys are more than welcome to take shots at us or agree with us, however you want to do it. Don't forget to follow us on all of our social media platforms at the Sac City Pod. Specifically, I want to direct everyone to 2 pages. I'm not doing the whole spiel. I want to direct people to 2 pages heavily right now: TikTok and YouTube. Please like and subscribe on TikTok and YouTube at Sac City Pod, and make sure you share. Tell your friends that the Sac City podcast is back. Come join the city. It's great. The water's fine. we're back. Like it's fantastic. We're gonna have more fantasy football coverage as the
I love off-season talk, by the way. So when the off-season comes around, it's like the best time of the year.
Yeah,
honestly.
like that. Yeah. So like if you're itching for more football talk, like this is the place to be because like it doesn't end for us. There is no off season. We keep it rolling. That's what we do.
Rolling.
Who sings that song?
Is that Kid Rock?
No.
Who is that?
That's Limp Bizkit.
Limp Bizkit. It was either Kid Rock or Limp Bizkit. I forget.
And do you know where Limp Bizkit's from?
Don't say Duval.
No. You're gonna say Duval.
Duval.
Oh, all right, that does it for another episode of Sack City Podcast. We'll be back again. Don't forget to again like and subscribe on all of our social media platforms, specifically TikTok and YouTube. We'll see you next time.
We know we were a much better team if we came up and represented ourselves. Booyah! That's what we call a sack lunch. Nom 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 nom.